Yo, Zola, yo, Dr. Divinity, original Sin 2 fan. Good name. First stream, well, welcome. Hope you enjoy it. Yo, Lime, what's up? Can't wait for the story about here you fell out the window. Oh, yeah, I kind of forgot about that. So we can do a quick story time before we start the game. So, on Thursday evening, I was on the way to go to the boxing gym, right? To go to boxing Thursday at 8 p.m. every week. Perfectly normal. Liv isn't here. This is important context. Liv is at a Foo Fighters concert down in Birmingham. She's still not here. So she is not here until, tomorrow. So at Thursday, she's 4 days away from being home, right? So I need to bike to the boxing gym. So I head out, got all my shit, go towards the boxing gym, go and get my bike out of the bike shed around just literally outside here. And my chain has come off my bike. So if you guys aren't familiar with cycling, basically there is a literal metal chain that goes around to simulate your gears, basically. I'm not a big expert, but you get the idea. And if that chain comes off, then when you bike, your bike doesn't actually go forward, your pedals just spin infinitely, right? So it's a really common thing that happens with bicycles where you can knock the chain off. So I had to put it back on, but the chain was really oily, so my hands were covered in oil. So I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, I need to rush, get in, wash my hands, get back out again. So I rush in, wash my hands, put my keys down, and then walk out without my keys. So I lock myself out of my fucking apartment, okay? Never once in my life have I ever locked myself out of my apartment. And it just so happens that the one time I lock myself out, because all the doors lock automatically behind you, so you can just walk out without your keys and you can't get back in. The one time I do it, Liv is away, and that's the prior context that I was talking about. Usually this wouldn't be a problem because Liv has a spare key, and even if she's at work, I can just go to her work and say, lock myself out, can I borrow your keys? Her keys are 1,000 miles away down south. So I am now completely fucked. Not only can I not go to boxing class, but I'm stood outside my building and I can't get into both the communal door to get inside and also to get to my apartment. I'm completely screwed. So I have a few options and I start running through my brain. I'm like, okay, let me try and think of the options that I can go through. So my first thing that I thought about is my window to my office is open. I can see it. I'm stood outside. I can see my window above. The window is open because it's hot, right? So it makes sense to have your windows open, get a bit of airflow in. So if anybody had a ladder nearby, I could, in theory, climb into the open window, get my keys, and I'd be good. I would literally basically break it into my own house, but, it's me doing it, so it'd be fine. That was idea number one. Obviously, the second idea is to then call a locksmith to basically pick the lock. And, the communal doors, they can't do locksmiths, but I could just get a neighbor to buzz me into the communal one because they know who I am. And then I could get them to open the door, this locksmith, and then I would be able to get my key and, no harm done, right? So I call up, they have a locksmith service here where you can call basically any that are registered. And I call a bunch and none of them have any availability because it's 8 p.m. on a Thursday, it's out of hours. People are not available. But the one person who was quoted me £119 to get the door open. And I was like, with all due respect, my window is open. I'm pretty confident I can do it myself. I'm not paying £119 when I could just borrow a ladder and do it myself. Okay? So at this point, option 2 is out the window. Option 1 is the way to go. So I think to myself, who on earth can I borrow a ladder from? And not just a ladder, but I live on the first floor, or, second floor for American terminology. I don't live on the ground floor. If I did, I could have just climbed in. But my window is, 15 feet above the ground. So I don't just need a ladder. I need a fairly sizable ladder as well to be able to get that high and climb in to my window. So I call my mum, and she knows a bunch of different people. She's one of those people that when you walk with her anywhere, she knows everybody. Everybody stops and has a talk with her. So I was like, I'll call my mum, maybe one of her neighbors or something, because she lives in a big communal place. someone surely has a ladder, because I certainly don't, and I don't know anyone who does. So I call her up and she's like, yeah, I'll speak to my neighbors, we'll find one. So the first one that they found was one that you can like go into a loft with. It's only like maybe 5 feet tall. It wasn't tall enough, so I was like, it's not going to work. But then one of her other neighbors happened to walk past, and she asked when we were looking at this other ladder, oh, do you have a bigger one? And he was like, yeah, it's just on the roof over there. And I was like, excuse me? And he was like, yeah, you can have it. Somebody's just been using it on the roof over there. Just go and climb up and get it. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. So not only do I then have to climb onto a roof to get this ladder down, which is already, scary as it is, because I'm not really like a climber. I'm a geek. I sit in front of my desk all the time playing video games. I don't climb shit. So I had to climb up this roof. Luckily, the roof climb wasn't too bad. It was only like, I don't know, 10 feet. So I could like basically just get a leg up and pull myself up there and grab it. And get the ladder, walk it back to my house. This is a big-ass ladder, as I say. It's like 15 feet fully extended. And now I have to... My mom comes with me, and I'm like, hold the ladder to make sure I don't fall. And then I've never scaled a ladder this tall in my life. Like, 15 feet above the ground is fucking scary when you don't have, like, like a harness or a safety net or anything. Like, if I fall now, I'm fucked. I'm gonna break every bone in my body falling 15 feet. Like, I'll easily break my legs, if not worse. So obviously, as I'm going up, I'm very scared, and I'm like starting to like panic a little bit, okay? But I go up the ladder, and everything's seemingly fine. And I get up to my window, I open up the window, like this window literally right here. I open up the window from the outside to like fully give myself as much room as possible. And I get my like knees onto the windowsill. Like I clear out the windowsill so that I don't like break anything. And I put my knees on the windowsill. Luckily, we moved my office around because before my desk was here, so I would have had to like climb onto my desk, which would have just been terrible. I probably would have broke the whole setup. But luckily, it's out the way. The windowsill is fine. The only problem is there's a drop into my office, right? So I get my knees onto the windowsill, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to like go from like a kneeled position to then go to a standing position and get my feet in so that I can step in to my office, right? To get my keys, and then I'm good. The problem is, my feet are fucking massive, and my legs are massive. I don't fit through the window like that. Like, I'm stood here like this, grabbing the window on either side, and my legs are cramping up trying to, like, contort myself to go from a kneeled position to get through the window. Like, that is never happening in a million years. But I kept trying because I couldn't think of a better option than just diving into the office, which would be very painful. So, at this point, obviously I've stepped off the ladder, and I'm hanging out of my fucking windowsill, 15 feet in the air, and I am, like, starting to panic. I legit start having, like a panic attack. And obviously my knees are on a windowsill, which is fucking painful if you haven't tried kneeling on a windowsill and putting all of your weight on your legs 15 feet up in the air. I start to panic. Like, I legit start having, like, a fucking panic attack. So I'm like, okay, if you imagine I'm here, right? And my desk is here. I put my hand down on my desk, and I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking do it. Like, I'm just gonna just jump into the window. Like, I'm stood like this, kneeling. I'm just gonna fall in. Like, how bad could it be, right? So that's what I do. That is what I do. I intentionally fall out of my window into my office. Luckily not backwards, because I would have probably been fucking dead if I'd have fallen backwards. Or at least extremely injured and hospitalized. But yeah, I just fell. Like, intentionally. Like, I put my hand down on my desk, and then I just leant forward and fell in. And I put all of my weight down on my right arm. And as you can imagine, I weigh a lot. Like, I will give you like metric and imperial units. For the UK, I weigh 19 stone, over 19 stone. It's like 270 pounds I weigh. For European people, what is 270 kilos? 122 kilograms. I weigh a lot. I'm a big guy, yeah? And I literally just put all of my weight down onto like my arm and my shoulder as I fall down from the fucking window. And that is how I fucked up my arm on Thursday. So not only was boxing completely out of the question, but it was like some of the worst pain I've ever felt. Like, I wasn't sure if I'd actually done any damage. And I just got in, got my keys, I shouted out to my mom on the window. I'm like, I'm fine, because she's like, "Are you okay?" Because like she heard the fucking drop of me coming down, and I'm like, "I'm fine. I just need like an hour to just sit here and just deal with the fucking pain." Because legit, I couldn't feel my arm. Like, I had like a splitting pain on the back of my arm here. Like, I haven't got any like damage or anything. It's not even bruised. But it like the splitting pain from here all the way up to my fucking right shoulder, I couldn't feel it all evening. And I was like, I'll leave it tonight. If I'm still in a ton of pain tomorrow, I will go to the hospital. But I was fine. The next morning I was okay. I just took like a lot of like medication, like ibuprofen, and I was fine. But yeah, like all night, I just climbed into bed and just laid and like watched YouTube on my phone because I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't extend my arm. I had to basically hold it like this on my chest because I couldn't move it at all without like insane fucking pain. But I got in and I didn't have to pay £119 for the locksmith. That's the most important part. I saved myself some money. I will go to no lengths. Sorry, I'll go to any length to save myself a bit of money. That's the story for you. But yeah, so right now I'm fine. As I say, like you can't even tell. Like if you looked at it, it swelled. Oh my god, it was swollen up massively. Like this yesterday. Like it was really badly swollen, but today it's fine. I had some frozen peas on it. And I knew somebody was going to say, I will entertain this comment because I thought about this later. I'm going to naively ask, couldn't you just land with your hands in a push-up position? Yes, I think that would have absolutely worked. If I had my left hand on my desk, I think what I could have done is kept my left hand on my desk and just reached down and like took the impact on my hand and then slowly fed myself in. Yes, I think I could have done that. That would have made a lot more sense. But I hope you can imagine, in that situation, I genuinely felt like I was going to fucking fall out and die. Like, if I fell backwards, I would have done some serious fucking damage. Like, it was not good, and I was genuinely like having a panic attack. Like when I fell in here, I was just holding my arm and I was just like groaning from the pain because I just like couldn't process anything. I couldn't talk. I couldn't like say anything. Yo, Pizza for Life, thanks for the raid, man. You came at the perfect time. I'm just talking about how I just fell out of a window the other day. That's why. So it was funny as well because on Friday, I felt well. Like I felt well enough to stream. Like obviously I haven't streamed in a couple of days because I wasn't feeling particularly well. I felt fine on Friday, but I'd just fallen out of a window and I couldn't feel my arm. So that was why I didn't stream on Friday. Not because I was sick, but because I thought I might go to the hospital because I might have like, I don't know, had like internal damage in my arm or something. Like luckily I didn't break anything. But yeah, that's the story for you. Sorry, it was a long one, but I needed to give you a lot of context. But it was just the thing that pisses me off the most is that I have never locked myself out of my apartment ever. Never in my entire life. In any apartment that I've had. I'm 26, almost 27. I've lived on my own for years. I've never locked myself out. Ever, ever, ever. And the one time I do, my spare key is down south with somebody else. Like, if all of that would have been avoided if I just didn't lock myself out on that specific fucking day when I didn't have a spare key. It was just so unfortunate. Like entirely my fault, but just such an unfortunate situation. Yeah, so that's the dumb story as to how I almost broke my arm on Thursday, falling out of a window. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine now. What I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to get a third key, so like a complete spare that nobody is going to be in possession of, and I'm going to put it somewhere basically, like outside, so that if I do ever lock myself out and the spare key isn't available, then the spare key will be available and I can just use it and then put it back, like in a key safe or something. I think that's the way to go, like, because again, all of this would have been avoided if I had another spare key, but I don't. I just have one. So, yeah. Install a numpad so you can enter a code. That's a good idea, but I live in a rented property in a communal building, so I can't install anything like that on my door. They wouldn't allow it. But my plan is to have like an external thing elsewhere where I can have a key safe with like a digit combination or something. Yeah, that would be my idea. Don't you have like a home sweet home carpet at your door? Doormats are illegal in communal buildings here, chap. Fun fact for you. They're a fire hazard. You can trip over them when you're running from a fire, so they're actually not legal. You can't have them here in communal properties. You are not allowed a doormat on the outside of your building. So no, I couldn't put it under the doormat. And even then, I'd want it more secure. I don't want it like under a plant or something, because someone could, in theory, find that. But yeah, so I could have definitely handled the situation better, but ultimately, I got in with only moderate amounts of pain. I was okay the day after. I was ultimately fine. And I got in and I didn't have to pay a stupid ludicrous amount for a call-out charge. And that's the main thing.